Today we're canning some green beans. We are dehydrating some tomatoes for tomato paste, and we are going to start fermenting some peppers for some Tabasco sauce. So we really have a lot to do. Let's go ahead and jump on in, get this done. Let me show you. First off, to keep your jars hot, I wet a towel, put it in the oven on the lowest setting I can get it. Keeps my jars hot, so while I'm canning, I don't have to worry about that. Keeps my sink empty also. I already have my oven preheated. I'm going to stick these in there. And those will be hot when we need them in a minute. I'm going to wash the beans really good. Look for any spots that might be on them. Get a big pot to blanch them in. I tend to always try to do all my water bath canning at one time. That way when I'm done I can bring it out the pressure canner. And then I start doing all my pressure canning things. But sometimes I have to bring the water canner back out, which is fine. But my beans are coming on really strong right now. There's the second bowl. So I really want to get these done. This is about 2 days worth of beans. And I really want to get these canned up. So that's what we're doing. First we're going to have to blanch these beans, and then we'll go from there. So with the beans today, we're going to be using the reusable Paddler lids, and it's just the plastic lid with the seal. You just pop it on. I canned some peaches the other day, and I know a lot of people have some trouble with these, but if you follow the instructions that they give you when you order the lids, then I didn't have any problems. I had one not seal, but you know, I could have that with the regular lids that you buy and you can't find. So I ordered the wide mouth, and so I have a bunch of these, and I'm going to use these with the beans in the pressure canner. Like I said, I did peaches yesterday, and that was the water bath canner, and they did great. The peaches did great. Now what you do to make sure it's sealed is you try to lift it up like this, and it's not coming off, so you know it's sealed good. And I'm going to wipe these off. I was worried about doing these peaches because it's a sticky syrup, and I was worried that the lid would just be stuck instead of sealing, but I'm really sure that they've sealed. You do have some evaporation, but I usually do. Let me show you. This is a regular lid, and you have evaporation even with it. It's, you know, the juices are down here now. So not too much of a difference, if any, that I can see. But they've both done great. See that there? Like that. And I'm not worried about these. The ones that didn't seal, I put them in the refrigerator. And we'll enjoy those sooner rather than later. Now, my water to blanch. My beans are ready. I'm going to go ahead and blanch those. I'm going to put them in for 5 minutes underneath the water. Pull them out and they'll be ready to can. I got my beans blanching. I stir them every now and then, make sure they all get incorporated in thoroughly. Now I have about 3 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get my boiling water on for the jars in the beans. Move my canner over here. Canning is all about using your time wisely and always getting something done while you're waiting on something else. Now that I got the water ready going on, the beans are blanching, now I need to find a pan to put my lids in so they can be in a rolling bowl while I'm waiting on everything else to get done. These I like to have hot. Feel like it helps the sealing process. It might not, I don't know. That's the way I am doing it. Get this boiling. Our jars are staying hot. And hopefully we have a whole canner worth of beans because I like to run it one canner at a time. I put this in the bottom of my canner to keep the jars off the bottom. It's standard, it comes with every canner. And I bought another one for smaller jars. I can stack them on top of each other, but today we're doing quarts. It is raining and thundering outside. It's storming. But we got about a minute left on our beans. Went ahead and grabbed my funnel and my ladle. And the stick, the acrylic stick to get the air bubbles out. Now all I'm going to put in the jar is water. I'm going to pack the beans in the jars, put the water on it, and add some salt. I'm using pink Himalayan salt. I like to use that in these beans. But the water has to be boiling. There's our first set of beans. I'm just rinsing out the bowl I had earlier. I got our beans, first set ready. Second set go in. This is no longer needed. We can wash it up. This right here is a lifesaver if you can find one. I found this at the Dollar Tree. It's $1. This scoops up everything. When I was canning peaches, I put a peach in there, put it in the boiling water to get the skins off. Same thing with tomatoes. It works great for canning. So it's a nice item for $1. Some people might can their beans with the water that they used for blanching their beans. I do not, because I worry that if I didn't get all the dirt off or anything when I washed them in the sink the first time, then I don't want to reintroduce that into my jar. So I always use fresh, clean water. That's why I have the boiling water on to pack them in my jar. We got our beans all done, all blanched. Our lids are ready. Our jars are still hot. We're waiting on our water to start boiling. We'll put our canner back on the stove. Add the water that I need for that. Sorry if you hear my dogs whining because they don't like storms, none of them. Go ahead and get a hot jar out of the oven. And then start filling it with our beans. Fill these jars. And then go ahead and put my salt in right on top. And you're wanting to leave a 1-inch headspace with these. So that's good there. Got me a little water. Get my rim good and clean. Going to now get one of the resealable lids. And you're going to put that on there like that. Put your finger, put your lid on, put your finger right on top, screw your lid until it starts to move like that. And that's all the tighter you want it. This is ready for the canner. And while you're over here, get another jar. We're going to continue this process, just filling the canner up. As we go. A few more beans in there. Salt. for air bubbles, which means now I have to get that other can out because I forgot to do that on that one. That's okay. I'll get that out. See? Everybody messes up. You want to make sure you got your air bubbles out. That's for sure. And I don't pack mine so tight that 1-inch headspace. Okay. Chances are it'd probably be fine if you forgot to check for the air bubbles, but I didn't want to take no chances. Because green beans are pretty valuable. I'm going to go ahead and continue getting these jars filled. And when I get the canner filled, I'll be back and show you the next step. So here's the beans I have left, so I'll just pop those in a meal. Got all of our jars in here and ready to start up the pressure canner. Now I'll let that steam for 10 minutes. When the steam starts coming out continuously for 10 minutes, then I will put my weight on it, and I'll put my weight on it and let it process for 25 minutes. Then I will let it cool a little bit, get my jars out of there, tighten up those lids a little better so that those Tattler lids will seal. While we're waiting for our pressure canner to finish letting the steam out, I'm going to bag these up. These are tomato slices that I started dehydrating yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and get some more in. I'm going to bag these up. These are going to be ground up for tomato paste. And they're nice and crunchy. That's how you want them, to grind them up. And they're all dehydrated really nice. I leave the skins on them, but that's how you would want them. I'm going to go ahead and get these put in, let them cool, and get some more on. 10 minutes. There we go. Sit up straight. There we go. It's been 10 minutes. I have the canner weight on, waiting for that to get to pressure of 10 pounds. I unloaded my dehydrator with my tomatoes in it for tomato paste. I'm going to start slicing some more tomatoes, getting those back in the dehydrator. And I am watching my canner to make sure that it gets up to the 10 pounds and not above. And you've got to really keep an eye on your pressure canner, because if it dips below the 10 pounds, then you have to start all over again with the time. And you know, I still got stuff to do outside and still have some hot sauce to make. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these tomatoes sliced and put back in the dehydrator while I'm waiting for my canner. My canner's just got to pressure. I started my time for 25 minutes. I just wanted to share with you the book that I use, and it has, for green beans, a really great illustration of every step on how to can green beans. And I've used this for years, and every year I think I don't need it, and every year I get it out just to be certain, because I double check myself, especially when home canning for your family. And you just want to make sure you remember all the steps. Like earlier, I forgot to remove the air bubbles out of the very first jar that I did. Do this every year. I know better. For some reason, I just forgot. So I had to remove it, get the air bubbles out, redo it again. Not a big deal. I'm glad I caught it before I started my canner, because if you have air bubbles in it, it could make your jar explode, it could crack it, it could make your food spoil, and you just don't want those things to happen. You want to take every step that you possibly can to get a good product, because you've worked really hard all year on what you're canning up. That's my timer here. So we shut it off. We're going to let it come down off the pressure all by itself. And as soon as that pressure is off, I'm going to grab those jars out and finish tightening those lids for those reusable canning lids. And hopefully, this is the first time I've pressure canned with them. Hopefully it turns out just fine. It's back down to 0. I have went outside and fed everything while I was waiting for that. Take my pan I had my jars warming up on, and get this out. So when I take my jars out of here, I can stick them right on here, because you should not do anything with your jars for 24 hours after you get them out of a canner. Don't tip them over, don't wash them off, nothing for 24 hours. Okay, now that the canner is back down and everything's good, I'm going to take this off away from you. Set that over there. You want to make sure you do not mess with that. Just tighten these back down. The rest of the way now that they're done. They're very hot, so make sure you use something to protect your hands. This is going to help with the seal. And that's the instructions on the Tatler lids. I just cover these up and take them in where they won't be disturbed for the next 24 hours. So, thank y'all for watching. Y'all have a great day. Go can something. And y'all come back.